Christmas is round the corner, and what's better than crafting your own Christmas ornaments? In this video, we will show you how to make a Christmas ornament using cutwork outline type. Cutwork is a special embroidery type which allows you to use the embroidery machine to create cuts on a fabric. To use cutwork, you need to have a special set of cutting needles, which are used instead of the regular embroidery ones to make cuts on the fabric. If you don't have a set of cutting needles, don't worry. You can still carry out this project either by cutting the fabric with scissors yourself or by making the ornament without a hole in the middle. Let's make our design. For cutwork, dense woven fabrics from natural materials are recommended. For this project, we will choose normal and cotton. Now, let's start by making a star shape. Before drawing the shape, set the number of rays to 6. Set the ray size to 70% and the star angle to 90 degrees. Click and drag to draw the star and hold the Control key pressed down while dragging to keep the proportion. Release the mouse to finalize the shape. Make sure you have proportional checked and set the height to 70 millimeters. Put the star at the center of the hoop using the Center to Hoop button on the To Machine menu. Make a duplicate of the star to use later for the cutwork part, scaling this one to 75% as the inner star cutwork will be smaller than the outside star. This smaller inner star will be centered inside later. For now, just leave the star outside of the design. Now, let's edit the initial star a little bit. Make a duplicate of the first star. Rotate it by 30 degrees and make it a little bit smaller by changing the scale to 90%. Now, in order to combine those two in one shape, select them together and from Shaping Tools, use the Weld tool. Now it's time to bring back the smaller star and place it to the center of the design. Enter 0 to X and Y position to place the small star at the center of the hoop. Now choose the outer star, set its outline to satin serial and the outline width to 4 millimeters. Set offset to 3 millimeters and remove the fill color as we don't need it. Now let's proceed to the cutwork part. Select the smaller star and set its outline to cutwork. Change the outline width to 3 millimeters. Check running before and set offset to 1 millimeter. This will add a running line to stabilize the fabric before cutting. Check net fill to make a nice net onto the cut area and set offset to 1.2 millimeters. For this net, we will use a water-soluble backing material. Check satin serial and change offset to 1 millimeters. This will add satin serial cover stitches after the cutwork. Make sure you have the discard part as internal. Let's change the outline color and remove the fill color as we don't need it. Set the same outline color to the external star as well. Now let's add some small ellipse parts on the inside of some rays. Start the ellipse shape and click and drag to draw an ellipse. Hold the Control key down to keep the same proportion. After finalizing the ellipse, set the size to 4 millimeters. Remove the outline color and set the fill color of your choice. To add on multiple rays, start the circular array tool, set the count to 6, and fine-tune the placement if needed. Now, let's make the cut work for the outline. You may easily cut this by hand afterwards, so this step is optional. Select the outer star, right-click, and use Auto Border option. The auto border should be to the outside by 6 mm. Now we can set its outline to cut work. The discard part should be external this time. This is it. So let's check the process in slow redraw. As you can see, the outer star will be embroidered first. Then a running line is embroidered before the cutting line. The black color is the cut work part. Then we'll need to place the water-soluble material and the net fill goes on top of that. Here are the satin serial cover stitches, which are meant to cover all cut edges. The small ellipse shapes we've added for decoration. And finally the outer cut work. Our design is ready, so just prepare the necessary files and proceed with the actual making of the star. Here's what we'll need: fabric, threads, and stabilizer, not the sticky type. Users who own a set of cutting needles will also need water-soluble stabilizer for the net on top of the cutwork. For users who don't own cutwork needles, some of the production parts may be skipped or done by hand. Let's start by hooping 2 sheets of stabilizers along with the fabric. Attach the hoop to the machine. Set the bobbin and needle thread as well. We recommend using the same embroidery thread color for the bobbin, as this is a double fast project and you want the back to look nice. Open the design. Let's start the embroidery. The outer star and the running line that is added to stabilize the fabric before the actual cut is done. Now we will get to the cutwork part. Those of you who don't have a cutting needle set may skip the following parts and go to the embroidery of the net. You may either skip cutting and leave the fabric behind the net, or use small scissors to cut out the part inside the running line manually. Before you go on to cutwork, you need to change the embroidery needle with the black cutwork needle as instructed. Insert the tip of the black cutwork needle into the cutwork needle holder. Make sure that the flat side of the needle faces the needle clump. Press OK after changing the needle. Press the Start button. Each cutting needle cuts at a different angle. Therefore, to cut a shape like this, you need to use all 4 cutting needles. So, change the needle with the blue cutwork needle. As before, attach the blue needle to the needle holder and proceed. Now it's time to use the red cutwork needle. Start cutting once again. As already mentioned, each cutting needle cuts at a different angle, so now that we've moved to a different area, it's time to change the cutwork needle once again. Green is the fourth needle and practically the last one. After having finished with a green cutting needle, remove the hoop from the machine and remove the cut fabric. Now we need to put the water-soluble stabilizer right on top for the net fill. Pin it in around the outside of the design. Attach the hoop to the machine and change the needle to a sewing needle. Now it's time to embroider the net and the satin cover stitches. Remove the hoop from the machine. Peel off the water-soluble stabilizer. Now it's time to embroider the sparkling dots, these small ellipse shapes we've earlier designed, inside the rays. For this part, we chose to use a metallic thread to add some sparkle. You may use whatever color thread you like to match your Christmas theme. Attach the hoop to the machine once again and embroider these dots. The only thing left now is the outer cutwork. The machine will prompt you to attach the cutting needles once again to have the outer fabric cut. Cutting with cutwork needles is more neat than cutting by hand, but this shape is rather easy, so you may wish to skip cutwork and cut it with scissors. We've used these cutwork ornaments as Christmas tree decorations, either within clear bubbles or on their own, as embellishments on gift tags or cards. We hope you enjoy making them and do share with us your own versions of these cutwork ornaments.